we're looking at the best meta players in each position. Now, in terms of goalkeepers, there's been a couple of additions. Obviously, Pickford was from the lovely Champs English qualified finals where you've basically got to win 12 to get the whole thing done. That'll get you Enzo. But Pickford was 5 or 6 wins, I want to say. So not necessarily the worst, but I must admit, I played the whole Champs. I saw one English team right at the end, and they were godly. So if you did do it, absolute GG's to you. But Pickford, I've heard mixed reviews about. I've seen people loving him, like most goalkeepers, people loving him, and people saying that he's just not very consistent. It'd be an interesting one to see with him, and to be honest with goalkeepers as we go forward into the game of maybe seeing a 99 at some point, but then it'll also be interesting next year to see if there's any drastic changes as well, because I do think with pretty much all of the goalkeepers, I have done reviews, I've done best meta goalkeepers, more tier lists with them, and every single time, even from the very start of the game, there's people that love some goalkeepers and other people that hate the goalkeepers. It is literally just a whoever you've got, go for it. I personally like the icons. Van der Sar has always been my favourite. Schmeichel has actually been relatively decent for me. And to be fair, in terms of going against him, Oblak doesn't seem terrible either if you're looking at more the new keepers. Especially for the rating side of stuff. It's very interesting to see. Now, I think Footbin have changed their thing, so I actually can't click on these, which is just more frustrating than ever. If you're looking for coins to improve your team, head over to lootbar.gg for the most reliable and also the best coins around. Also, they have incredible 24-hour manual customer service that you physically cannot find anywhere else. But before finishing on lootbar.gg, make sure you are using JT11 to get 8% off coupon. Once you've gone through the payment, you'll be able to get your coins within the next 24 hours, absolutely guaranteed. Also, with the code, you'll be able to get 5% more coins on every transaction. Make sure you do click the link either in the description or down in the comment section below. Well, that's fantastic. So the only way we're going to be able to click and see is by this way, which is more annoying than I'd want it to be. That kind of screen was brilliant when it came up, but they've changed the website and I'm kind of half and half with it at the minute. But in terms of goalkeeper, if I was looking for somebody, I think normally I'd go with Van der Sar. Schmeichel is the option. I think Schmeichel's coming in at 4.55. Again, you could go with the cheaper options. You could go with a Donnarumma and he'd still be good for 70,000. Alisson, the higher rated one, naturally is going to be that team of the year, but the team of the season still at 85,000. If you're just looking for a cheaper option, is never going to let you down. Now, in terms of fullbacks then, there is a star-studded lineup. If we start with the left backs, I have got an entry of obviously Cafu and Ferland Mendy down here. Ferland Mendy, especially, being... Can I not click the bench? Can I only click? Okay, fantastic. Well, at least I know his price. He's coming in at 3.5 million, the most expensive left back by 2 million coins. I think the next one after him was... I don't even know, in fact. It might have been four left back and right backs, to be fair. But if I go left backs, it could have been right backs. I'm pretty sure there was like 1.5 mil, but that could have been what? Oh, Alfonso, of course. It's Alfonso, and then there's somebody else that's obviously there, but I believe they're the right back side of stuff. So Ferland Mendy's still incredibly expensive, but as we know with Mendy, it predominantly was the fact you just could not get him. The supply on him was non-existent, whereas the demand was incredible. Cafu has always been a class act. Galazzo icon, I'm kind of expecting some better ones coming soon, whether we see them in this promo in the Euros, or if we see them at the end of the promo where maybe we get a shapeshifter, or we just go into straight footers and we start seeing some monster upgrades, which would be nice. If we go into the main team then, left backs, we've got Grimaldo, we've got Capdevia, Teo, DeMarco, Davies, and also Sakina. Technically, Cancelo can be left back as well, but I personally do prefer him as a right back just because he is right-footed. I like to have that right-footed right back, left-footed left back. Grimaldo being the cheaper of the options here at 278. You've then got a bit of expense. You've got 1 million for Hernandez, 1.2 for Capdevia. Obviously, we've already seen Davies at about 1.5. DeMarco's kind of coming in 0.5 mil, give or take. I don't know Sakina's price, actually. 670. So, I mean, in terms of pricing, you've got a lot across the board there. I'm personally using Grimaldo at the moment because he's just the one I've packed. Predominantly, my team is only packed players anyway. But if you are looking to buy one, I think Teo's always the best option. He's number one in my list as a left back. I think his stats, his attributes, just everything points towards one of the best left backs. That being said, I have been a bit partial for a bit of Capdevila. He has always been stunning in the game. Last year, he was the guy. He was the left back, and we had every version of him. Obviously, the footage was what everybody eventually went to, but looking at the World Cup one was incredible. Then into his fantasy was even better, and then the footage just kind of finished it off nicely. So he's definitely one that is worth looking at the minimum if you have got the coins to kind of go that sort of price. He has still got to get one more goal, which I can imagine will be the next one. I believe it's Spain versus Italy, so it could be a bit of a slobber knocker, but it could also be 0-0. I'd imagine Spain will score with how composed and calm they looked against Croatia. They are definitely scoring at a minimum, so that would just be the final upgrade for him to make it into his double upgrade, into the final upgrade for him. It'd be a 97 with hopefully a quadruple play style plus. Right back wise then, Klaus, Frimpong, Walker, Jan Couto, and also Cancelo. Now, Frimpong is obviously going to be my favourite there. He just has everything going for him. The rapid plus, the whipped pass, the jockey, the 5 skills, the great dribbling. Defending physical obviously is going to be a little bit less than what we're seeing in comparison to some of the right backs now, but I must admit, he still keeps up. Of course he will. He's 97 rated. He's just over 1 million coins. He's phenomenal. Again, like Teo, my favourite in the game. Kyle Walker, on the other hand, 1.4, with the possibility to keep going up and elevating his card. He's managed to get his first upgrade, which is really nice. I don't think has it really done too much to the price? I mean, yes, I suppose it has, to be fair. It's gone up a couple of 100k, which is nice. I think the next one now is winning free, which will give him an extra playstyle plus. Whether we see that in the next 2 games as well, that will be interesting. Then it's going to be quarters for another upgrade, semi-final for the 5-5, and then the final for that final upgrade, which could make him into, what, a 98 overall, which would be fantastic. But again, that's kind of getting ahead of ourselves there. Klaus being a lovely objective, I think he's an easy one that you can go for. He's been fantastic the whole way through. We loved his, I want to say this one, the road to the knockout first. Great stats, great pace. Defending was a little bit lacking, but back then you could kind of get away with it. We got a bit of an expense in the upgrade for the team of the tournament. I think it was like 200k more for not really anything. He got the long throw for as a playstyle plus. Just wasn't worth the upgrade for 200k extra. We did get the 93, which is a lovely upgrade from everything else. And then now, it's just a one step up. Whip pass, anticipate, relentless. I'm never going to complain for a free card like that. And then Cancelo's just everywhere. We love a bit of Cancelo. He's consistent. He always has a decent card. He's got himself the pace, the dribbling, the passing, the defending, the physical. He absolutely works it. And I think he's just always a solid shout as a super sub or even a starter in both positions, to be fair. Left back and right back. He gets the job done. Now into the centre-backs. There is a star-studded lineup. If you're looking for, I say that the cheaper options at 630 for Bissek, he's always good. I don't know, with this card, he's just absolutely stormed it. You could have got the 94, or if you did get the 93, you could have put him all the way up to, I believe, now it's the 3, but you could have put him up to a 96 if you utilised him. And to be honest, because he was out first, if you had him straight away, I'd have definitely got him to that 96, because you could go Champions Corner 1 into 2 into 3 to make him that 96, and the stats wouldn't be necessarily crazy better, but it would be slightly better, which is always good for a Bissek. We then obviously have Arejo, who in-game is unbelievable. The playstyle pluses, on the other hand, are not the greatest in my opinion. I think they're good. Block is fantastic, slide tackle is decent enough, but the long ball pass instead of something that is more defensive could have been just a quadruple if I'm being brutal with him. Now he is a path to glory, so he has got a chance of obviously getting an extra playstyle plus if Uruguay manage to win their 3 games. So that will be an interesting one to see if it does happen. Can Suarez bring him back to victory on the Uruguayan front? Who knows? That'll start on the 21st, so we will see them as we go through them. But a solid centre-back for the price, great SBC, and kind of like Thiago Silva. I think Thiago Silva, for me, is just that slight bit better, and it's mainly coming down to the Anticipate. I think that Playstyle Plus, for me, is the number one. I like Anticipate as a minimum. Then you want to have something like a block, a power header, an aerial, a jockey. Even a slide tackle. Slide tackle works. And then you can kind of get adventurous. If they've got the quadruple, you could then go with something else. You could go with an intercept. You could go with like a long ball pass. If you've got another option, at least 3 defensive ones, and Anticipate must be in there to at least excel them. It's not everything, but it most definitely is needed on at least one centre-back. We then have Diaz, who's had a lovely upgrade. He's not really had much this year. From the Trailblazer 90 to the lovely Team of the Year. Then he's only got a 1 upgrade. And granted, he has had a bit of an upgrade, which is nice. Like we see the double composure, bit more agility balance. The pace has gone up a bit more, especially that acceleration. And we knew full well that the defending physical wouldn't go crazy. That's a weird ad. Because it was already, 95 and 93. It's a pretty good level already. So he's not as if he's going to have 98. That's just, especially with the upgrade ability as well. So Portugal, more than likely, can do pretty well. And I think they're on tonight. Oh, no, they were on. So when I'm recording this video, they would have played. I can imagine they're going to get their victory, meaning he gets to a 97 already. Militao is going to be the one to watch. He is expensive, but worth it. You've got the jockey, the Anticipate, the aerial, the pace is unbelievable. 96 and 94 on the defended physical, 90 composure, a good amount of agility balance. Now, if you've already got a set 2, like a Virgil, a Vidic, and say your right back's kind of a bit lacking, you could put him there. I don't think he's completely out the question. He's 6'1", so it's not the worst decision you could make by any shadow. Obviously, you're going to go anchor. It's going to make him mostly lengthy. 98 pace, 99, 99. I mean, it's a 98 overall centre-back. There's not much to kind of discuss other than when he does get the upgrades inevitably, which I'm hoping Brazil do for him, that is going to be insane because one win takes him to a 97, and if they were to manage to win it, he's going to get a 99, which would be absolutely unreal. Rio, I think, has always been a good centre-back. The pricing of the SBC has kind of devalued the card that little bit, that kind of an opinion that he wasn't worth that amount of expense, but I think he can still do a job, but he's definitely on the lower side of stuff now. And I know the price is coming in now at 896. Pretty sure his SBC is either as finished or it's it's tomorrow it finishes. I just think 2 million coins for the SBC just wasn't really worth it in the grand scheme of things. And then we have the best centre-backs in the game. Like obviously Militao puts himself in there. It's not in an order sort of thing. But Vidic, unbelievable. Bastoni is still absolutely class. Ramos is the OG centre-back that will always forever be very meta in this game. Saliba has got a chance to really blow out kind of the rest of the competition, but we will see how France do. But I like his playstyle pluses. Anticipate, slide tackle, aerial. When they do eventually get the 3 wins, it will be interesting what extra one they do give him, because that could make or break the card massively. Whereas Virgil, it's Virgil. He's always going to be number 1. He's kind of like Mbappe. His body type, the stats all point towards number 1 of the centre-backs, and that's fair enough. But it's going to be getting that close second to him. He's got himself the long ball pass like Arejo, but he has got the rest of the stats that go with it. And obviously the price is just nuts in itself. So into the midfield, I was actually surprised it hadn't really moved that much, to be honest. I was kind of having a look and seeing who's the favourites there. And obviously Pele and Hullet have got to be in it. I think you could make a case for Vieira or Matthias, but I do think with the cards that we've got now, body type is everything, and I do think stats-wise, Hullet as the 5'5" is an absolute gem. Still incredibly expensive. Now, I do think maybe the 90 and 91 might be a little bit past it in terms of being number 1 without a question, but the 94, I think, is absolutely there. Pele as a 97, you could play him striker, you could play him cam. He's going to be there at some point either way, and he still is absolutely nuts. You don't want to come up against him. He's got the ability to change the match, and that is what some of the best players can do. That's the whole point of trying to get the best team. They are game winners, and that is what Pele does every single time. A high-rated Messi, a high-rated Mbappe, Ronaldo, Vini, Neymar, Ronaldinho. They just win the games out of nowhere. Then we have a lot of the normal cards that we see. Vitinha was an incredible centre mid. I couldn't believe how even more kind of overall rating he got, how much of a jump from that 88 to a 96 is just nuts, and he's only 1 million coins now. You've got Declan Rice, who I think is one of the best DMs in the game. Now, you always have the arguments between Rice and Rodri in the game, especially. I personally prefer Rice in the game. I think as a solid DM, he has been outstanding for me. I've used both. Rodri's still fantastic, but Rodri, I find, is better at taking the ball forward a little bit more, maybe having a bit more of a shot, whereas Rice, for that solid DM, has been wonderful, and I'm pretty sure it's not that expensive at all as well. So in terms of DM, he is a must shout for me. Valverde is an easy shout, coming in relatively cheaper for that box-to-box, and I've tried to flex the prices a little bit more. You could possibly go down to the 100k mark, but trying to pick the best of the best. Like if I was to go and tell you to go and buy a Xhaka or something, like, because he's the best under 50k budget, he's not really the best. Like, he's the best of a very limited pool, but when it comes to the top of the top, I'd say Valverde still puts his name in the hat. Now, granted, he's not going to beat out a Bellingham, but there is a difference between 3 million and 250, but that just is what it is. And Bellingham is him, genuinely him. I'm hoping we do, well, I'd imagine we will get some sort of big upgrade for him. If it's not now, it will be in footies, and more than likely we see a 99 of him, which will be outstanding, because I've never been able to get the card. The team of the year and the team of the season has still eluded me. The only thing I probably could do is put him into an evolution and make a B-Tech Bellingham for him. Cole Palmer, love this upgrade for him. I thought the team of the season was nice. Didn't really get on with it too much. I thought he was a good card, but I don't know, he just lacks something, whereas this is a lovely upgrade for him. We obviously didn't get the first appearance, so technically his chemistry's still safe for the minute, so we will get that once he manages to make a sub-on appearance at some point, hopefully during the Denmark game, if he doesn't start. And he's already a 5-5, so I think he gets the chemistry bonus for an appearance. Maybe he gets 2 goals and 2 assists. It's up in the air, it's not likely, but I mean, he could definitely come on there, do it, which would give him that lovely 97, and then making the 5 appearances, because he hasn't made this one. He's got 2 of the group stages left. He'll have the round of 16, he'll have the quarters and the semis that he's got to do. So if he doesn't come on in Denmark, then he's got to literally play every other game, and England have got to get to that final for him to play in as well. So there's no pressure on him getting upgraded there, but even as the 96, I still think he's fine. Yes, the dead ball plus is kind of a throwaway playstyle plus, but we can still work with that. Technical, finesse, power shot. He's an absolute baller in the middle, which is exactly where I want him. Looking at more box-to-boxes then, you got Frankie de Jong and Tchouaméni. Obviously with Tchouaméni is the same upgrades as Cole Palmer, whereas de Jong has the ability to potentially go up even more. I think he was a 95 to begin with, so obviously with him, he is, let me double check, but he's already got 1 win, I'm pretty sure, so that would mean he's kind of already up there with, let's have a look, he'll be able to get to a 98 then, if they were to win the final. Yeah, he was a 95 to begin with, so he has the ability, if Netherlands do win the Euros, he would be a 99 in fact, because he's already a 5-5, so there is still a chance of a 99 even if they win the final, 98 if they get to the semis, and then you just keep going further down. Goretzka is, there's no much explaining for him. He's a cheaper option, which is good now, but all of the stats across the board are absolutely lovely for him. 90 across everything. He's a 4-star, 5-star, which I still think for a midfielder is absolutely fine. And then the kind of final one we've got is McAllister. And I must admit, I was very, very impressed with this card. I kind of did a tier list on him, and kind of we had a couple of games. And I was like, it was okay. And then kind of gave it a couple more games with him after the tier list. Somebody else said try this with him in terms of how to play with him. And he's not bad whatsoever, is he? He's got the decent pace, the shooting, the passing, the dribbling. I think it's the dribbling for me that really stands out with this card. It is a shame that we haven't got the 5-5. If Argentina were managing to get to the semi-final, though, we could see that 5-5 come back, which would be very, very interesting, because that card could be an absolute monster. It can go to 99 if Argentina was to win the Copa America, so it will be a card to definitely keep your eye on past the 21st, especially if Argentina are looking dominant. The stats already are looking very, very good for him, so definitely one to look at as kind of like an outside shot, even though it is 1.8 mil. Now we have got some wingers. Beautiful. We've got Garnacho's SBC, Xavi Simon's SBC, and that was just 2 days of SBCs. Now, obviously with Xavi Simons, he is originally a cam, but I do think this card is much, much better on the wing. It's 366,000, which I think is really cheap for him. Again, like Palmer, he's got the Dead Ball Plus, but he's got the Rapid, he's got the Technical, and a cheeky Travella. He can play both sides of left and right wing, but the stats point towards it. 99 acceleration with 95 sprint speed. Dribbling-wise, with that agility balance, is perfect. Decent-ish defending, like for a winger, not really going to complain at 82. Good physicality, mainly in that aggression. Obviously then the passing's at a very good level. And then shooting. Like you literally dead ball away. 97, 96. 96 winger, 96 cam. People are going for the basic with him. Basic or marksman. Basic will give you a 97 cam, I suppose, 96 across the board. Marksman would give you 96, 96, so pretty standard. So there is multiple options with him, but I just think it's an easy option, to be honest. It's a very cheap SBC for what this card could get. Obviously, he has played his first match, so he's got the chemistry boost already. Then, more than likely, I could see him getting 2 goals or 2 assists and 5 appearances, which would be the quarterfinals. Netherlands didn't look awful. Like, they definitely have got a bit of work to do, but for the very first game, they've got a squad that could definitely get through. So you could be looking at a potential 97 if the stars were to align for him. When it comes to Garnacho, though, 471,000, a little bit more expensive, but again, we've got Argentina being in the favourites category of potentially going up even more. Now, he is a makey mark, so he's got the potential of a 98. The only thing I don't know with Garnacho in terms of the Argentinian squad anyway is he a starter? That's going to be the big thing, because he's going to need to get 2 goals or 2 assists, which I think the assists are more likely. He has got Messi in there as well, so there's a likely chance that Messi can score all the goals if you just pass it to him. But the appearances are going to be crucial, because the moment you miss the first game, you've got to get to the semi-final. You miss the second game, it's got to be at least a final then. And even though Argentina are in a category where they should be reaching the final at a minimum, anything can happen. So it isn't just a one-man team, and most definitely it isn't always the greatest team on the day that goes through sometimes. That is just how it works. But at the minimum, I think even for 470, I'd happily take this card. He's a cheaper option. He's an SBC that's available. And compared to all of these, like we're looking at Leao at the moment, he's looking at 4.3 mil. You look at then someone like a Neymar, he's going to be 8.5. Like, there's levels to them wingers. Garnacho's still going to give you a great output. And yes, there might be a few things you prefer from Neymar, but it isn't going to be that much of a difference if I'm being brutal with it. Also, another great option is Rivaldo. I think he's something special. He hasn't even got his upgrades yet. He has got the possibility of a 98 and a quadruple Playstyle Plus. I'm hoping he gets the Playstyle Plus, because Dead Ball's a throwaway, Technical's nice, and he's got a finesse. I need something else with him, but he's 9 million coins already. That kind of tells you the level that card is. Whereas Chiesa coming in at a respectable 2.5. He's kind of gone back up after getting his first kind of upgrade. We could see he drop down to about 1.5, and then he's made his way back up, which we could imagine with a lot of these live cards. There's going to be like a dip in potential, but then if they were to lose, it does put a lot of strain on the price. So if you are trading with them, be very careful. Even though I must admit, Chiesa looked phenomenal in the Italian game. Man of the match, I believe, looked brilliant going forward. Very tricky on the feet, dribbling wise on this card especially. 99.99 is outstanding. You go with something like a dead ball here, you're going to get 98.95. You've got a 98 winger from a 96 already. Still with the possibility of more upgrades, it's just a breath of fresh air for 2.5 million. I could kind of understand where this card is coming from now. We still have some of the oldies but goldies. We've got Vinny, Dembele and Hansen. I don't think there's any arguments across the board there. And I think they are still coming in at a reasonable price. Vinny obviously 2 million coins. You got Hansen at 2.4 and Dembele at 2 million. So you're still looking relatively expensive for them. But they are still absolutely on point if you are wanting them as well. Then we finally got a very, very usable Saka. Now, he's had his upgrade from the win yesterday, 97 rated with the potential to go up. If England were to win the final, he does get himself a lovely 99, and we love the dynamic. It's cold, love the England shirt in it, but a great card nonetheless. Finally, like, I liked the 95, but at the point there was cards just so much on that level as well. He came out as well as Salah. Unfortunately, Salah would take over him there. Whereas this is a card I can get behind. He looks like one of the best right wingers you could actually get in the game. Phenomenal upgrade for him. Very, very big dub there. Again, if you went with the Deadeye, you're looking at a 99 overall. I mean, that kind of tells you everything you need to know with him. But a stunning, stunning card for the wing. Now, I don't think I need to put too much emphasis on the strikers because these are the top of the top. There's a few that you could go for maybe on the cheaper side, like you'd be looking at a Drogba, you'd be looking at maybe like a Soloff, but even then I'm finding Soloff to definitely not be as good as Drogba, and it's really hard or difficult to have two of the same sort of players on the same pitch. So like having a Drogba, a Soloff, a Drogba, a Giroud, you've got to play it in a certain way, whereas I think Drogba for me is the easy option in them. Giroud still can put in a shift if you didn't really want to do the SBC, then Giroud could definitely put that shift in, and I suppose Soloff can still definitely do some numbers, but Drogba for me is the definite option there. But whereas we've got with the rest, I think it's quite an easy one. If we was to look at the prices across the board, obviously some of them being a little bit more new, we've got Dalglish as the upgrade there. He's close. He's very close to the upgrade, which could make him a 98. And then we need the quadruple playstyle plus. Something like a Rapid would be fantastic. With Di Natale, again, needing that upgrade as much as possible. But if we have a look at the score, they got the 2-1. So he's managed to get the upgrade. He just needs that quadruple playstyle plus, which would be perfect. Whereas I think with Germany versus Scotland, it was 5-1, was it? I think it was 5-1. They did score, and it's going to take a while. But when we go with the rest of them, you've obviously got your right lines. It was 5-1. So he needs one more goal to get into that 98. That's a stunning card in itself. Griezmann, great performance last night. Took an absolute battering. Not as much as Mbappe, but he definitely is in due for an upgrade. We're going to see a Euros type card for him at some point. You can just tell he's going to have that certain Euros. Whereas I still like this card. I think Griezmann's definitely been a lot better this year. And he's been a lot more questions than he has in previous years. Mia Hamm is still very, very meta in herself. She's kind of like R9. She's solidifying herself as that top icon. We knew it from the very first with the 5.593. You just knew full well that she was going to be the female equivalent of what R9 is in this game. Henry had a great year this year, let alone fixing his balance and making him actually usable in this game. He now has the ability of a striker or a winger. He got the Rapid Plus from the get-go, which was great. The Thunderstruck was lovely, and then even into the FUT Birthday was just brilliant. A stunning, stunning card. Wing or striker, he is one to definitely look at. Cruyff is Cruyff. I mean, it's a 5.5 Cruyff from the get-go, 93 rated. We got the 97. Hopefully we do see a 99 at some point with a quadruple playstyle plus. I can imagine that will be the footies anyway. And Di Natale, like Capdevia, finally getting an upgrade. And there's a reason why. When you look at the difference, that you've got a 97 here, granted it was a 96 to begin with. You look at the 88, I'm like, that is a +9 upgrade. And to be honest, it's not that much of an upgrade. 7 pace, it's considerably nice. You've got the 7 on the shooting, that will have the most effect. 10 passing, it's not going to do that much for him. And 7 on the dribbling, it's decent enough, obviously the agility balance there. But even so, like, it's already 87 and 91. That's still very good for a card that came out on the absolute day of launch. And then 12 on the physicality. In terms of an upgrade, this card was day 1. That is the levels that Di Natale is. Like, he was literally just over, what is he, about, what, 1.5 in November? Now eventually coming down naturally. But just seeing that card and then looking at this upgrade, you just know full well he is ready to play. Haaland, as we know, I think it's kind of an easy one now with Haaland, with R9, with CR7. They're just easy options when it comes to it. Same as Messi, who is just class always. Mbappe being the most expensive at 7.5, but it doesn't matter what version. You could have every single version. His gold is still 210. We are literally 3 months away from the game coming out, and he's not broke under 100k for a card that was released in September, end of September. That is the levels that Mbappe is, and I think you could literally play with any of them, and he would still have a very good effect. Now, maybe if you have got like a team of the season, Ronaldo and Haaland, or R9 and Dalglish, maybe you're not playing the gold. But at the minimum, he's still in a question if you don't have them players. So overall strikers, they are all phenomenal in themselves. This is just the class on grass. But I'd say Drogba is probably the only one that could break through as an SBC and under 1 million coins. So if you did enjoy, make sure you do like and subscribe. And I'll catch you all for the next one. Peace.